a blade, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screen and LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The gen brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shady clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win, even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. Almost God creates the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock thing. Time in hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. Liquidation, call me sweet. Whisper welcome to defeat. No stop loss, no regrets. Code and chaos, no safety nets. Satoshi's ghost in my DMs told me to ape again and again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. If I crash, at least I tried. In this wild west of blockchain rise. I'll be trading till the lights go out. Shots are noise, but I live for the sound. One candle spike, and I'm back in town. Crypto's a fight, and I'm 10 toes down. Diamond hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. But I'll reload, I play to win, even if I lose it all again.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Okay, somebody's shoring something. Okay. Okay, what we got in the chat? We got Coma. How you doing? We got 3W69-0. Bloody Monday. Yeah, it's been a red day. Good morning, Noah. How you doing? Gear. Decent Crypto. Colin Crypto. What's up? From the Otter Gang. Jo. Entry. Andrew, how you doing, man? How's the Hobbit doing? Offshore miner. Good. What's up? All right. So, let's go to the hourly for a second here. So we flip bullish on the hourly during like this moment right here. We had an SFP moment. That's why we got another change of character, follow up, break of structure. Then we came into this valley area, which is a pretty damn important one. This would have helped us get the change of character on the 4-hour and 6-hour if we closed above this high. But instead, we failed at a previous valley area high and kind of tapped into the 97-day previous valley area low right here. So there's a lot of confluence here for a short, and it's part of the reason why we took the short yesterday. Felt like yesterday. Yeah, lots of confluence here when we took this short, and there's a better story like in the lower time frames, like the 3-minute and the 1-minute time frame to help justify the short as well. But yeah, held it to the valley area low. Then we had this boring price action, which we were kind of predicted this would happen during a holiday weekend. Really low volume, kind of boring price action. Like there was an opportunity for a short here on even like on the lower time frames, like there's like a double top here. But it was like low volume, so I understand if there was no confidence behind, shorting that to like the valley area low, not expecting that we'd break, below the valley area. We smashed right through this demand zone, like it wasn't even there. Like we tapped it a couple times, but yeah, fell down, lost that level. So this is still going to be an important area when we come back up. But what I'm kind of hoping for, and I know a lot of people might not agree, but I want this low like taken first before we see any reversal, because if we get that low taken, even if it's just like an SFP or a candle body close, it doesn't really matter. I just want that low taken so we can have our key level on like the daily and all the higher time frames. The key levels will rotate to this high if we take out this low, because we'll have a new strong high. Because right now our daily is way up here at 107k. Our 4 hour is at the top of this leg right here that we failed to grab. Like everything will kind of just become, this will become a multi-time frame key level if that were to occur. And we could front run, if we have the structure, of course, we could front run that break. And if we get that break, any front runs would just immediately turn into a swing trade kind of setup, and giving us that large double bottom posture. I could see us coming up towards like 107k, like right after. But yeah, a lot needs to happen. We need to, hopefully take that low, get the bullish change of character internally, and then target the high. If we break the high, then we hold the trade. If we fail against the high with the opposing change of character, then we get out of the trade. So that's what I'm kind of mentally preparing for, is the hopeful sweep of the low, and then we're going to go like mega long, in my opinion. That would be a crazy, awesome opportunity for both scalp traders and swing traders, because if you want to front run it as a scalp trader or wait for it as a swing trader, it's completely up to you. All right. Now going through the newly created recent price action, we had a bit of demand in this area. It obviously didn't hold up very well. And we built an order block here. It ended up, we had a level here preparing for longs before in the past. Like I had like a little post here for you guys. It didn't help with much. It would have gave you an opportunity for sure. But if you weren't know how to exit, had a proper exit plan, then it could have been a problem. But yeah, we had, like, this is our key level this morning, and then we bounced off it. Then we had the opposing, we had a flip against the supply after losing momentum, and then at that point you retargeting the low again, and it came right back down. But now we're starting to get acceptance inside of this previous valley area here from previous range bound price action during this moment. Once we got that acceptance, then we kind of knew that we're likely to be coming down to at least that valley area low. So we're kind of approaching our key level that we want to have swept in stages, and this is one of the big stages that needs to occur, acceptance into this valley area, so we can get that rotation to the opposite side. And when we get down there, we can start preparing for those longs. So we might not have the low taken, which is one big bummer. So we got to prepare for potential front run of the low, because we have some like a key level here at 83,185 to prepare for longs, and then we have a zone of interest here that starts at 82,290. So the moment we touch this previous value area low, I'm going to have my long goggles on and preparing for the potential front run to the high being taken. The downside with that kind of scenario and not the low being taken first is that we won't have the change of character on the 4 hour or the 6 hour until we break here, and then our daily will still remain to be way the heck up here at 107. So we might have less trade participants in the break of this high if we don't take this low first. We want to have as many trade participants as we can. Okay, we got our downtrending momentum. Since we hit our half the supply. It's the pace of the structure. The pace of the momentum has definitely sped up since then, but we don't have a break of structure yet to define the momentum. So all we need is the low taken here, and then we can start drawing momentum internally through here. But yeah, that's basically what I'm preparing for, guys. Just waiting on the longs. If you're not already in an existing short on any of these scenarios locally or from up there, then we're waiting on longs. Okay, so that's my rant on Bitcoin. The on-chain data is looking still phenomenal for longs. Like, we're almost at bear market low conditions in terms of on-chain data. So it sounds like a scary thing, but that it's actually, when on-chain data suggests that we're like dramatically oversold, then you got to prepare for like the bigger, macro bound moves, in this case to the upside. So I'm pretty bullish in terms of the macro right now. I know a lot of people are bearish because of the cycles, all that crap. We're meeting our cycle end at like 1,050 days per cycle average, but this cycle is definitely different. Okay, what do we have now in the chat? Oh, we know we had a request to look at H-bar. I'll definitely do that for you, man. We have love in the chat. We got Jason, what's up? Mark, how you doing? Paul, hot tamale. Picure, what's up? Just Jo. Can we look at TNSR, including its heat map, Teo, and XRP? Yeah, we can do all those. All right, let's look at H-bar first. That's the first request. But yeah, if I were just to draw pathing and what I'm preparing for is either the long off of this valley area low, or the long preferably off of the sweep of this low. Let's see what we get. So whatever the structural posture will tell us the story, right? We just need to wait for the bullish change of character. Right now I'm looking at the 5-minute time frame. Based on the pace of the market structure, I think the 5-minute time frame is good for a potential quick scalp move. If we get the long opportunity here, we can long it into this valley area high and prepare for a rejection back down from the confluence of the downtrending momentum. So that might be one quick scalp. But yeah, for us to prepare for the big macro move, we want that low at least taken. All right, cool. So we got that drawn out. Let's pull up H-bar. I know I have an H-bar chart. The last time we looked at H-bar was November 5th. A little while ago. See what this chart looks like from then. It's almost a month since we last looked at it. It looks like we were looking for longs last time. This is our key level that we had marked. Must have been a low time frame move. Let's delete this noise now. Okay, let's get rid of our wick levels. We don't need that anymore. We'll add this one over here. What's our low on this? 7, okay. 13 cents. So we're at a really big, strong key level right now. Okay. Yeah, so H-bar is in a really important spot. Like, super important spot. Like, kind of similar to where Bitcoin is right now. Really important spot. So we're at these, like, macro previous highs right here. Trying to hold it as support. We created a demand zone right here when we got above this area. When we retested, consolidated, and had another impulse move up. This became demand. We held this demand zone as support up until the October flash crash. Like, nothing held that. So it's good that it recovered back above it, though. That's really important. So like I'd like to see, similar to Bitcoin, a lot of its important daily key levels are going to adjust if we sweep this low first, right? If we take this low first, then our daily change of character key level will be right here, which is flush with the previous value area low. Might not be that important of a one. Yeah, it's not too... It had a lot of influence over the price action and helped us a lot, but the main thing is here just getting that break, and you'll have that entry confluence from that value area. But it's really what it's going to do is help identify a rotation state to the value area high to help things be just to help things be a little bit more clear on how the price action might behave. If we struggle at this value high, we might get that retest and then come up on the daily after getting acceptance in that previous range. If we don't get that low taken, then we're going to have to wait until we break above like this high, and that might be internal because of the crazy wick. Yeah, that's going to be internal. This is all basically internal because of this ridiculous wick here, but it's better than nothing. So that's what I'll be kind of like watching out for. What was the name of the person that requested it? Was it the 3W69? Yeah, when looking at H bar, yeah, you kind of want to either see the sweep of the low. We are coming up towards a hourly order block right now, so at this area, this could be a good area for confluence for longs. It might not be like the long that will bring you to the highs, but it could be a long that at least brings you to test the local supply right here. So if we jump into this area, get that bullish change of character, I would recommend looking at the 5-minute as well for that bullish change of character. And based on the VWAP placement and the supply, I'd likely just be targeting the VWAP and these local highs if we get that bullish change of character. Let's pull up. Let's get this adjusted here. So this is an hourly order block for our long zone. Let's get our momentum drawn so we can see the pace of the sellers in case we see sellers in the order book chasing this trend line, right? So if we have a slow pace bounce, watch the order books to see if there's a giant sell wall that could induce a rejection off this trend line. Otherwise, if there's no sell wall, we're likely going to have to bank on market orders and see if we get a rejection there or not, or just market structure in general. Let's see. Well, yeah. I'd sit in your hands, wait for the bullish change of character here. And if you're looking for shorts, the VWAP retest, sweep of the high, SFP, and a good confluence right here. And we have our supply right here as well. I'd mark this whole zone. This all is yet to be mitigated. You're asking about macro. This is going to be, I know this is short term, but this is like a really, really important moment to define what's likely going to happen within this macro range that we're in, right? So if we hold this low, then we can come back up to the macro range high that we've been consolidating within for over 369 days, right? Last time we were here, we had this large double bottom that gave us a crazy target of this value area high. If we hit our head off this point of control, we got to watch out for a macro descending triangle right here. So if we break this internal momentum, we got to watch, the value area high that could bring us back down. And then hopefully if we break through this, then we'll be watching this more macro downtrending momentum and confluence with this previous value area low right here. I got to clean up this chart a little bit. You guys all have access to this chart, but I'm going to clean it up really quick. Get our order blocks in. S&P level. That's previous value area. High is flush with this value area low. I'm gonna sync it with the value area low just so we can, when we look back on our TA, we understand. Let's fix this internal. There we go. I can clean it up a little bit more, but that's to get start. Okay. I hope that helps you with the H bar. If you have any questions about this, you can just reach out to me in the Discord, and we can move on to our next asset here. Let's go back to Bitcoin, see how it's doing. Okay, it's coming back up to retest the point of control. And not one I would touch. We just tested this previous low as resistance, and we got this point of control here as well. We'll see if we get the lower low or if we're gonna get this ascending double bottom break. But even if we get the ascending double bottom break, I'm only really expecting it to get to as high as like this downtrending momentum or this value area high. But I'm not too confident that's actually gonna even break that high. Okay, chat. What we have? Last day of the sell-off. Well, it depends on the volume. Mondays are usually pretty slow. Then things start to ramp up after like Tuesday forward. Like everyone has their trade plans in place. There's more retail involvement, stuff like that. All right. Okay, one of the requests was to look at Teo, XRP, Zcash, and TNSR with the heat map. I'm curious about the heat map request, so let's pull up TNSR. I don't think I've done TA on Tensor. Okay, let's zoom out. All right, so it woke up a little bit. We have this macro downtrending momentum here. You can mark your daily order blocks. Get them all labeled on your chart. Let's get our local ones. We just mitigated a few here, and we got our newly created one here from the impulse move up. Okay, and then we have a little combat situation between the downtrending momentum and the 200 and the 50-day EMA. Luckily, it looks like it's trying to stay above it. When we're squeezed in between these two, it's really frustrating to trade within them. In my experience, at least. Some people might enjoy that stuff, but I kind of don't. We're trying to get above these highs, not doing too great. I had a really violent move up, so those kind of moves are usually unsustainable. But let's see what we got locally. This is the hourly time frame. I'm going to turn off my VWAP deviation just because it's a little noisy right now. We got demand zone right here. This is sent back. Perfect. So whenever you see these impulse moves up, fast moves, base of structure, another impulse move up, they are a form of demand. Same thing if they're upside down, fast move down, base of structure, fast move down. With at least a 2 candle pullback, it normally can create a supply zone. So whenever you see these demand zones and you see an opposing change of character or a flip in this scenario, then you can assume that price action is likely going to come down to that most recent range, demand zone, and induce a range from there. We can pull a fixed range following profile from here as well, from basically the point where the demand zone has been mitigated, so roughly on this candle here until here. And this will help guide you into longs and shorts so long as we stay within this range. So if you see like an opposing change of character here, you could prepare for it to start to come against you and target the value area low while watching out for any demand zones along the way. When we're at the value area low, we can see that we have the confluence of the demand zone here. So we might deviate a little bit lower to tap it. We also have the 50-day EMA right here as well. So we have decent confluence for longs once we come back down to this level. It starts at 10 cents, 0.1072. And then the 50-day EMA is really want to kind of assume to become the floor, which is resting right now at 0.0929. So structurally, this is what I would be hoping for. Is for us to come back down to this area for a long. Otherwise, I'll be sitting on my hands waiting for the potential short opportunity here. We can zoom in a little bit further. And we see that we had the hourly order block here. Whenever you see like a doji structure is the easy way to identify them. And then a engulfing candle that closes past the wick. You got yourself an order block. It's a sign of residual buy orders. If you have a bearish one like up here, it's a sign of residual sell orders. And you can use them as confluence to prepare for longs or shorts. Short for the bearish order block, longs for the bullish. And then normally what you want to look for is, a structural evidence of support. Because we could range within the range, right? We could hold this area. I personally would not be trading near the 200-day EMA just because of how algorithmic bots perform near them, causes weird price action. So I usually don't recommend trading near it. So that's why I would recommend maybe waiting till down here. But if you need some local key levels to help you with your scalps, these are some good ones right here at 1358 and down here at 1276 when we have this wick low. You zoom in on the 15-minute time frame. Let's see. Yeah, again, I'd probably recommend sticking to the 5-minute around this area if you're going to be trading this. So you could get the bullish change of character here, then just watch your head around here when we get to the VWAP, 5-minute order block, hourly order block, supply zone. Lots of reason to hit our head as soon as we potentially bounce here. And that range could squeeze us into a move to the upside or bring us right back down to the downside. Once we have a confirming apex point, you'll be able to identify the squeeze. Okay, so that's TNSR. So if you want to look at the heat map, so we gotta go to CoinGlass. So what I'd recommend in terms of getting a wraparound time for TNSR, it'll be based on the pennant that we're forming, the more macro one. And then if you want to get more local, you can, of course, like local to this right here. So you can look at like the 24-hour. Because of this consolidative range, you can find out which side has the most weighted liquidity. Okay, so we're looking at liquidation heat map. You want to click on symbol, and then you want to type in the ticker you're looking for, TNSR. All right, so our 24-hour, most of the weighted liquidity is above us. So it gives us more reason to start to come up a bit. But it's pretty cold. Looks like this is a low liquidity asset in the past 24 hours at least. So yeah, most of the weighted liquidity, if we're looking at TNSR, it's like right above this high here is, relative to this range right here. But it's not too much that I would feel like we're definitely going to be coming up there. So maybe just mark that high just so you're aware that if we go beyond this supply, that we could still hit our head off of this liquidity, because liquidity can be used as exit liquidity for market makers. Now, what we also want to look at in a more macro picture is go to the daily. My bad. Let's go to the 4-hour. All right. And then we're going to get our measurement tool. We're going to find out how long we've been ranging here for. And it's been 12 days. So you want to have the wraparound time for that. So about for the 2-week period. Okay. We have a ton of liquidity below us. But we have most of our weighted liquidity right here. So we have a liquidity cluster right here, which is good in this demand that has yet to be mitigated. When we came down the first time around, right here, we only really just scraped the surface of it, and we end up adding more anyways. So this is, I'm still expecting this demand zone to hold the next time it comes around because of that liquidity. But what we do definitely know from the liquidation heat map is those 2 peak wick highs. We need to be super cautious that could get slap the price right back down. So right here, at these 2 wick highs right here, like not focusing on this one, but on these ones here, most of the liquidity is resting right above these 2 peaks from the last 12 days. So I would mark any kind of identifier, whether it be like a, I don't know, trend line, horizontal array, and then put text saying like high liquidity zone. Next time we come there, you could prepare for another harsh rejection likely to occur here. Now it could be used as buy side liquidity. That's why we always got to wait for the reaction, the price action. But yeah, 1858 is a big spot to watch for rejections. And then more locally, we have like basically this point control where there's more local liquidity here that could hit our head and bring us back down too. So if I were to make an adjustment, rather than focusing on this, I'd be focusing on like a little bit lower level after looking at the liquidity. I hope that helps you out, man. Let's go back to Bitcoin, see how Bitcoin's doing. There we go, got my noise back on. Oh, to get a little bit of a crunch price action, we have to go to the 5. Okay, it looks like we're getting that ascending double bottom. I'm not taking it. If we close above this high, it'll confirm. And it'll likely bring us here. So if I were to draw pathing and what I would prepare for mentally here, guys, just the break, hit our head, come back down. Okay. Now what we have in the chat, just try to catch up. Ciao, what's up, man? Good morning. Don't forget to like the live. Thanks, Sterling. Lucky deal trade. What's up? Good morning, Kyle Bailey. Have you read this info that the bullish catalyst of this cycle, that MTSR and DAT, the companies that use to buy Bitcoin and grow the market cap and buy more BTC, are expected to be excluded? I had the question. The bullish catalyst, I don't think it's going to be MicroStrategy or DAT. No, I think the narrative will shift to be something else. I know that the government has a plan to buy $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin. That could be a bullish catalyst depending on how fast that comes. We know that institutions are heavily involved, so there could be lots of catalysts that could drive the price up. Market structure wise, though, you can find out. You don't need to know the news to know what's going on in the background for Bitcoin. If you understand market structure like a lot more thoroughly, you'll realize that like the news is important to help understand the narrative, to help you focus on the right sector for your trades. But if you're only trading like a handful of assets that you kind of mastered, like Bitcoin, for example, then really Bitcoin will tell you the news If you just wait for the bullish change of character, you take the bullish trades. Stuff like that. Looks like, yeah, we're going to come up and hit our head there. We could hit our head sooner, I think off this previous low. But yeah, with all the opposing barriers and the positioning, I don't like the positioning. I'm not taking that long. We got a good momentum close, though. So this next candle should statistically be more bullish. Let's see. Unless we had a tweezer top. That's a whole other story. The world will come to an end. Okay, so Teo, XRP, Zcash, Esther, Alf. Okay, the list is getting big here. Let's go to Teo next. I believe we have a Teo chart. We do. Last time we checked on it was November 19th. Okay. Teo was a beast for a little bit. Let's go to the daily here. A really important spot as well. Similar to H bar. Getting close to an important key level. It's kind of been like Teo's behavior has been very close to like a macro double distribution kind of state. So we have been in this, I guess we include this supply over here as well, if almost 600 days. We've deviated away from the local valley area from the low here. We did get the lower low after hitting our head off of this local supply. So internally, we would want to have that break. So we have the confluence of potential acceptance into this valley area and then rotate to the valley area high. That's a pretty big move, percentage-wise. It's like 32% from the valley area low to the valley area high. We got a member in a short from this break, from this up here. Still holding it like a boss. Let's zoom in a little bit. So this was our supply right here. We hit our head off of that. It came down. We had an aggressive drop, falling with everything else. Got a little bit of a front run to retest this low. The VWAP kind of kept us down. We have taken this low already, right here. We failed to get the SFP, unfortunately, at least on the hourly. The 4 hour might, even the 4 hour, it's kind of tapped out. 6 hour is still active. So you might get the 6 hour SFP, which would suggest a target of the most recent proper pullback, which is this high right here. So we could target that level, but ultimately I'd be watching here along the way and that previous point of control if I were to take that 6 hour SFP. If we do get the 6 hour SFP, I'd highly recommend people using follow-up structure to define your entry. So you have like the confirmation, you know your invalidation point. So your goal would be to try to get in between the confirmation and the invalidation point while still honoring the 6 hour low as your stop loss guard. See how that story could be painted is basically, that level or in the 15-minute time frame, break the high, get the bullish change of character, maybe tap the VWAP simultaneously, probably get a pullback from that, and maybe we'll get the inverse head and shoulders kind of like painted for something like some kind of move like that, and that could be your confirmation that the 6 hour SFP could drive the price up towards that technical target. But yeah, it is a big ask. You have to watch your barriers along the way. Barrier here, the liquidity starts to go cold here, so that could induce a range to stack more liquidity above us, to position the market makers to influence retail to drive the price up later on. But yeah, that's tail. Really just want to see it get like that, maybe the potential SFP, so we can have an earlier confirmation of entry for the reversal. Okay, and E-Gold, we can take a peek at that too. Next request was XRP. Let's pull it up. Let's close down Teo. XRP. Let's pull this up on the bigger chart here. Okay, so it looks like the last time we were talking about XRP was within this range. This was the last time we had our fixed range volume profile updated. We had a supply zone marked here that we were worried about to prevent us from reaching the value area high again if we flipped bullish. And we flipped bullish. We didn't get the bullish change of character, but this is a massive drop without any proper pullback, so you wouldn't really expect one unless you got like a lower low taken. But we had this ascending triangle instead, or this stiletto kind of recovery, or Adam and Eve. We broke that, went into the supply, and then we just couldn't fight past it, and then ended up coming down, lost our support, and then fell down along with everything else. We can update this fixed range volume profile poll to help us the next time we come up here. This value area low is going to be a barrier for us, and it will also be a target extension tool. If we are in an existing long position and we see acceptance into here, we can start targeting the value area high. We'll be mindful of the point of control. Since it's been mitigated here, I'm going to leave it here for the next time we return for our supply warning. We had this demand zone here to help us out, prepare for potential longs. The only thing we really did off of it was help create a new supply zone. So not very helpful. It didn't really give us any structure to go off of for a long. That's why you got to wait for the structural story, right? You can't assume that your levels are going to be honored, but when we get there and you get the right reaction, then you know that those levels are honored and you can get a good trade off of it. So I'm going to move this over here. Change the template, show it's for shorts. And we should have some bullish divergence forming soon. We have this previous high as support over here. That's all we really got. If we lose that, then could be coming right back down towards the local support at 187. I'll just mark this as local support, using this previous high potentially as support here. But if we lose this, then we could come down much lower. We can come down all the way down to another 6%. I'm hopeful that it holds. Based on Bitcoin's positioning, it should likely hold. Like Bitcoin could come down and take this low, but I'm not sure how much that would influence XRP to go down lower, because sometimes it has relative strength against those falls. So you'd have to see like a comp analysis data of like Bitcoin versus XRP, and if the Bitcoin pairing strong, like it's got strength over XRP, then XRP could fall a lot harder while Bitcoin falls like just a little bit, right? Okay. Right now we don't have really a good proper key level that I can give you for a trade, unless this low is taken first, either through an SFP or a close, preferably a sweep. Then this will become a good key level to watch. And if broken, you can target the supply again where the VWAP is. We'll be mindful of the liquidity above this high. That could be used as X liquidity to induce a reversal as well. And then we could stay range bound here for a little bit. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. We're hitting our head here already, eh? Let's see if this gives us a retest and break a structure continuation. It's all internal, but okay, so let's get the next one up here. Okay, so we went through Bitcoin, XRP, HBAR, Teo, Zcash. We can look at that next. Esther, Elf, ZEC. How you doing? Zcash. We were hopeful for a long here, but never got the break. Fell down with everything else. Delete this noise. This is our previous demand zone. It held up for a little bit, but we just kept getting lower lows. Never got the change character to tell us we can enter the long, which sucks because like there was a lot of good confidence here for longs on Zcash. It just never gave us the confirmation that we wanted. Right? Like this was a good key level once we got that low taken, and then we got the other low taken. We got a lower key level that was flush with the valley area low. So if we got that break, man, that would have been a great play out. But everything kind of just fumbled. So we still are like maintaining this momentum here. This doesn't seem like a good zone to watch, actually. We can delete this. And we just mitigated a 4-hour order block right here. We tapped into it. But the downside is we got like a 4-hour bearish change of character. And the good, there's good. If you're wanting it to go up, there's some positive things to a bearish change of character, in the sense that it usually induces more opposing liquidity. So if you're like, let's say you're a swing trader and you wait for those bearish changes of character as one of your rules, you look for a strong high for your stop loss guard. So this break could have induced more liquidity above this high, and any like confirmations of us dropping down here could also do that. So see how that goes. But yeah, this was our order block. It's been mitigated already. Some people respect it up until the equilibrium point. Others only respect it until its first tap. On the hourly, no proper pullback there. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping for a proper pullback around here, but never got it. We're fighting the VWAP right now as we speak on Zcash. We have an hourly opposing bearish order block here that could help us with potential exit plans or shorts. But again, yeah, you kind of want to have that lower low. Maybe get the S&P. You can mark your wick level here. Let's see if we got a short opportunity coming up. Since we're right up on this VWAP, now the VWAP right now, if we're looking at the 3-minute, what you really want to see is, if you're looking for a short, you know, tap the VWAP, sweep the high off the local S&P, and then from there, if you get that S&P scenario, you'd be targeting the most recent pullback. In this case, this is the only one that we have painted for us, so we're targeting right around here. If we break the low, then we have a change of character. We can use that for the continuation down to our demand zone over here. So that's the main thing you can prepare for. Something like that. You gotta watch out for your barriers along the way. You got a little guy right here, which right now, if we pull a fib from this low to this high, our golden pocket is here for confluence for long. So if we are looking for a long internally for a quick move, you could get a long opportunity here. But I think this is a better play, like waiting for the short here and then see how it goes. But it's whatever the market gives you, whatever is in line with your rules. There's our uptrending momentum here, which also could work well in confluence with the golden pocket 3-minute order block confluence there, and could induce a bounce. Okay, so that is Zcash. Zcash is kind of its own beast, so just be aware that it will sometimes move tightly with Bitcoin during range-bound moves, but when it comes to trend-bound moves, like Zcash, it tends to do its own thing sometimes. But I think it's lost a lot of its relative strength recently. After that massive move to the upside, all the way up here, like Bitcoin was struggling a bit while Zcash was thriving. And once we lost that momentum, it just haven't really stopped going down. We had this double top technical target, which suggests we're going to come down to 244. But right now, we're kind of at our first big barrier before reaching that valley area high that could prevent us from hitting that technical target. We'll see what happens. And I'll clean up this chart for you guys too. And I'll leave this on the appropriate time frame because I know with my chart links you guys are forced to kind of look at the time frame that I'm looking at sometimes, or the initial one. So I'll leave it on the 3-minute, but that's kind of like what I'm looking for Zcash here. And there's the continuation trade here if it gives you the proper structure. But I think it will still hit its head here. Let's see, we got the chat. Hey Cal, is there a problem with the website? Get a 503 service temporarily unavailable after logging in. Which website? Finova or InvestiShare, man? Let's pull up InvestiShare. No website here. And no problem there. And the Finova side. And no problem there, man. Could have been just during that moment. I'm not sure. Oh, it's picture. Okay, cool. Yeah, it might have just been during that moment. The whole internet's been kind of wacky lately. Like with Cloudflare shut down, the AWS crash, like everything just seems like it's unstable. I do use Cloudflare, and they had an issue recently, so maybe that was part of it. Can we look at Esther? Okay, so let's look at Esther now. Esther. Okay. All right. So yeah, Esther was kind of cool. It had a rounded bottom build up here in the macro. We were building this rounded bottom for, I don't know, I feel like we stayed true to it for about 35 days. And then after we hit our head off the supply warning that we had and the 50-day EMA, we just haven't really recovered since. We've been having this really annoying, awkward, descending regression trend right here. And we end up breaking it to the downside, which pretty much, yeah, that sucks quite a bit because these usually break to the upside and it gives you a really good target And based on the order flow here, you can tell there's likely decent liquidity to be taken as well. So we're on our way down. We have this key level drawn here. We can delete this rounded bottom unless we end up holding this. Then we can keep this. It's fairly subjective. But yeah, this is a key level down here that we can watch out for. We have demand here as well. But based on Bitcoin's positioning and us potentially coming down to sweep the 80K level, I think that Esther could come down a little bit lower. But we don't want to go any lower than this because then we'll be in like price discovery. Esther hasn't been around for very long, so the last thing you'd want to see it do is, you know, keep giving you lower lows in price discovery. So 82 cents is really, really important to hold. We'll see if we hold it. But yeah, around here, if you are someone who's interested in accumulating Esther, if you want to make sure you're getting on a position of strength and you're not just buying it before it continues to go down lower, like, I would recommend waiting for like at least an hourly bullish change of character here before even just spot buying it. Like a price, everyone defines like prices as being good if it's lower, but I've defined prices being good when it starts working for me immediately after entering. So I'd rather get in on the bullish change of character and have my money working for me ASAP. Close it around supply, and then look for your next victim. We have hourly order block created here. A tiny one right here for this green candle. And that could help us for potential supply warnings for our long setups down here. And just watch our head around this area. So we'll see what happens, but we can sweep this low, hit our head off here, come down lower, then look for the bullish change of character and break of this downtrending momentum. Okay, so that's Esther. But yeah, right here, 85. I own some Esther, and if I buy some here, I'll let you guys know. Because I need a DCA a little bit. We're really close to my current average. So if I can lower my average a little bit more, because I didn't invest as much as I wanted to. I think Esther is kind of unique of what they offer. The utility is not really rivaled yet. Keyword yet. So I find Esther to be a good rival for Hype, just because it has the unique utility that Hype does not have. But I will tell you one thing. One thing I don't like about Esther is the hidden limit order system and how it's impacting traders' ability to trade. Because now barriers are invisible to us. The more people that use Esther's hidden limit order system, I find the harder it will be for some traders to be able to identify opposing resistance levels beforehand. And then it'll have to be more reactional than it used to be. It's almost like dark pool trading in the stock market. I find the more people that understand dark pool trading, the less they're going to be investing in the stock market. So almost 80% of trades in the stock market are dark pool trades, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Which, by the way, guys, is like, if you're new to that term, think of it like you have a stock of Apple and I want your stock from Apple, but you don't want to sell it on an exchange. I can come up to you and just like, here's some cash. You give me your stock contracts, and then boom. That's a dark pool trade, basically. And it's nuts that how much of the trades in the stock market are dark pool trades. Is there a second chance for us to get out sooner, or should we wait for one more bigger move up? I don't think that this is the bear market, if you're wondering if this is the bear market. No, I think that we're going to have at least another move up. But on-chain suggests that we should not just have another move up, but also create a new all-time high. Our stressor level for the Nupal chart suggests that we are not stressed again until we get to 160K. So, and right now we're dramatically oversold relative to the new positions that investors have created in this market. So if we zoom out on the bigger story stuff, massive amount of retail left during this moment right here. And more institutions absorbed that capital, and we drove the price up despite them leaving. And again, lots of retail leaving here in line with their experience with the cycle theory, right? So a lot of people got out here, a lot of retail left. But institutions are still here. They're not selling. They have diamond hands. They use their funds way differently than retail does. Right? They can use it as collateral, like we could too. But how many people do you know use their Bitcoin as collateral to buy houses? It's like next to no one. I think I know one person. Okay, next request. Solana. Take a look at Solana. How's that guy doing? Yeah, I'm paying a lot more attention to Solana lately. Yeah, we lost this over the weekend, eh? Yeah. Got acceptance into this valley area. Okay. So we're in a really important spot too for Solana. It seems like everything is really close to their make it or break it moment for alts. Okay. Let me delete this noise. We don't need this anymore. It was helpful at the start, but all right, if we zoom out, I can explain like where our positioning is relative to the last ranges that we've had in the past. So we are here at a valley area low. This is our valley area high. You can tell like how much influence it had since we created that range. We are range bound here for 252 days. It was a really important valley area. So being at the valley area low, we should be waiting for longs. You see here at the valley area low, double bottom bounce, V-shaped recovery bounce, double bottom bounce. We held a support here, ran up, hit our head of the point of control, then lost it. Support, acceptance here, bounce here, and now we're here again. So if we have a break of the internal momentum, bullish change of character, we can start targeting the opposite side of the valley area again, like the last time we were here. We had that like a really good setup, and then an opposing change of character telling us we're going to come right back down. So same kind of story. Wait for the bullish change of character at the valley area low and prepare for the rotation to the valley area high again if we get the structural confirmation. Right now I'm looking at the 6 hour. So we kind of would like the same kind of positioning as Bitcoin. If we want things to be easier for us, we kind of want to have this low swept first. And that's at 121.66. And Solana loves to do liquidity sweeps, SFPs. So I definitely think this is likely going to occur. I just hope that we don't get the close for something like Solana, because it usually follows along with its market structure for continuations after we have that break of structure. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm hopeful for maybe the 6 hour SFP here, and then we'll start targeting this 6 hour order block up here. Now we actually might have one created here in the lower time frames. So I'll mark this level here. Send it back, so this could be good confluence to prepare for a rejection for scalp trades. But yeah, ultimately, we want to wait for the low time frame bullish change of character, target this high, hope that we continue, get the break, the bullish change of character on the macro time frames, and then run up towards the structural value area high way up here at 170. Let me delete this. Oh, that's gonna be, no, that'll be helpful for us. So like how this could help locally, if we come up here and we get that break of structure, we know we got acceptance to that value area, and we're likely to get that rotation to the value area high. Same story as what we were talking about in the macro, but more internal. Going into the hourly time frame, like this is our current key level right here. Going to the 15-minute time frame, our key level is just a little bit lower. But both of them will require us to break past the VWAP first. Let's see what happens. See what kind of picture we get painted first. Whether we get the bullish change of character early, or if we sweep the low first and then get the change of character. Either way, I'd recommend Solana and Bitcoin to be on your, like, the main things that you watch. Out of everything that we looked at so far, they're more picture perfect for preparing for a long setup. And yet, low time frame and macro influences. Kyle, I meant last day of Black Friday deal. Yes, today is the last day for you guys to be able to get 50% off for life on any of the plans. So the code is Black Friday. So when you type that in, you'll get 50% off any of the plans, whether it be yearly or the lower tier plan or the higher tier plan. You'll get 50% off for life. So today's the last day, guys. It expires tonight at midnight Eastern time. Okay, and today, just so you guys are aware, for the members, the mindset call with Shim has been changed to tonight at 5 p.m. and that's gonna be the new time going forward because a lot of people were struggling showing up for like the Sunday call. Okay. What is that? What was that message there? Someone wrote, I need TikTok to take part in purchasing a TikTok meme coin to bring awareness to the masses. Yeah. Meme coin, that's not really something you want to bring awareness to the masses for. And we're trying to tell the masses to stay away. We're trying to get them away from that stuff. Like you can make more money from Bitcoin than you can from an altcoin if you do it right. So it's safer, so much safer. You want a 10% move? Get a 1% move from Bitcoin. That's way easier to predict with 10x leverage. There's your 10% move. You want to 10x something? That same kind of story. You can find swing-bound macro moves for Bitcoin, use leverage safely, and risk to lose like a set amount, a fixed set amount, and be consistent with that set amount. And you'll do well. Then the last thing you got to focus on is your strategy. Get your risk management down. Very easy to figure that stuff out. And then after that, get your strategy down. Work on your win rate. Learn about the barriers. You can have a really good high win rate strategy, and then you can combine that with any of your knowledge with like VWAP or order blocks or structure, supply, demand, value areas, all that stuff to help like boost your awareness on what could cause an opposing reaction against your target, so you can at least get out with a small gain instead of accepting a loss. Okay. What else we have for chat? gold elf, e-gold plume. We'll look at. We have a gold chart yet, eh? No. This is the tokenized version of gold. You can trade gold now against a stablecoin pair on OKX. We were looking at, and this moves alongside gold's price action. So we're coming into a supply zone, pretty big one. It's a daily order block. Okay. So we had a daily order block here. It has been mitigated. We have an hourly up here. So we're kind of in that zone now where we expect resistance, but we could come up higher. Kind of delete this noise now. It's all previous stuff here. Got a broad momentum here. Awkward regression trend, then whipsaw price action. I didn't take a look at, let's go to Forex Factory a sec. See how manufacturing came through today, right? The first. $482, okay. So forecasted 49, came down lower at 48.2. We kind of want that to be above around like 50, 51. For that to flip bullish. Let's go back to since the back. Also, whipsaw price action here. Technically bullish. Pull a fib from this wick low to this high. See if we're at any key levels. Kind of like the gold pocket 786 level. It could promote a turnaround to hit the VWAP again, but I think that right now it just looks like it's sluggish and it's awkward regression trend. So I wouldn't touch this right now. Like a next key level, if we don't get like the bearish reaction, which is a break of this low, we have to break this low to flip bearish. We start targeting this demand zone right here. Let's pull a fib from the impulse move. This isn't the established high yet, so we don't know if this is the actual proper fib pull. But it looks like we have good liquidity curve here. If we return down to a key level and prepare for a bounce, like this is a really good spot at 4115. But until then, we have a good demand zone here. We're trying to claim support above this previous high after mitigating that daily order block. So we consolidate here and we find support and get the higher high taken, then we can start coming up towards the hourly order blocks up here at like 4,311. That's where the floor kind of starts for that. So I'm actually going to adjust this box zone of interest and just refine it to the floor of that order block, since that daily order block has already been mitigated. And leave it to the wick high. So we have like a better visual preparation there. And then we have our bearish key level right here. So a full body candle close below that. We flip bearish. And then from there, the pathing that I've prepared for is for us to come here and prepare for potential longs. If we don't hold this as support, then this is our next key level. Assuming this key level is under the assumption that we don't create higher highs first before breaking this low. This is not an established high just yet. We're still technically in an hourly uptrend, but just with really ugly price action. Okay, so we looked at Ester, Solana, XRP, Zcash, gold, HBAR, another bunch, like a handful of things. But that's all I can do right now for today, guys. I'm working on some cool stuff for the community. I'm really excited to show soon. If I find a trade, of course, I'll give you guys a signal on it. But right now, it's a little bit choppy in between some key levels. So until it reaches one of those key levels and we get a reaction off of them, I'm mainly just sitting on my hands until we have a confirmation at one of these zones. So just a quick recap of what I'm preparing for with Bitcoin. We could get a low time frame setup here. We got a 15-minute order block at this high. We have the downtrending momentum here. We had the VWAP here. So we have reason to hit our head here and come down to return down lower. If you don't like that setup, you can wait a little bit longer for potentially coming up to this supply. I preferably would like to see the low taken from the last time we were down here so we can evolve daily 4-hour, 6-hour structure and then use that newly found posture to help define a macro reversal. And this could be the front run entry, right? So here would be an amazing spot for longs. Here is a potential front run area where this is where you start being aware of the price action and just be a lot more alert. Whenever there's a new strong high created, you mark it so you can set alarms. So you don't have to stare at your screen all day long, right? So just pick the time frame that you're wanting to use for your conduit for an entry. The higher the time frame, usually the better. But when you follow along, every time there's a new break of structure, go off that top, mark it, set your alarm so you can prepare for the bullish change character if that's part of your confirmation rules. All right, cool, guys. You have yourself an amazing day. I got to head out. If anyone has any more TA requests and you're part of the community, just send them my way, and I'll go through it throughout the day and update those charts. Just like Sterling said there in the chat, if you use the code Black Friday, you can get yourself 50% off for life. Get yourself a good deal. And most people usually make their money back pretty quick. If you're brand new to trading and you never even press the long button tool or that sell button, then I'd recommend taking the course first. It's included in your membership. You don't have to pay more for the course. So I highly recommend taking the course first before even following signals so you can master your risk management and scale properly. I could do analysis on DOT for you, man, but I'll post it inside the Discord here for you. All right, guys, you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm live again on Wednesday at 11 Eastern. All right, cool. See you guys.